I said, let me come in here so you're not by yourself.
Who's hunting?
Usually bring something in here.
Take it out of here. Look, this is just one. That's my book used to make sure I get it back.
I try not to be. I usually bring my bag in. I didn't do that. And didn't bring my purse in.
This way. I'm the first one.
That's for cities here.
Man, I have nobody here.
Looks like I made you some. And maybe he was canceled. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're waiting on one person to make a quorum. If that person can get here by 5:45, we should have a meeting. We have 2 council members that are sick. I can't discuss their health issues at this moment in time. But just give us a little bit of time. The only reason why I'm considering this is because we have a hearing, planning and zoning hearing, on the agenda. So if it cannot be by 5:45, the meeting will be called. All right? So I'm going to give him, Mr. Wilton, a few minutes to get here. He has an issue going on, so he's trying to make the meeting. There's another issue that we want to discuss too tonight before council meeting continues. There has been rumored on social media about a certain thing that's going to be on the agenda. We're not amending the agenda tonight. When you want to know something about our actions, it will be posted on the door or on bogalusa.gov. But as far as a personnel matter is concerned, Bogalusa City Council will not be taking that up and will not be voting on that now or in the future. So I'm just letting you know that. That will be decided by the physical administrator. Thank you for your understanding of that. So if you're here for that particular reason, I'm letting it say you're going to be disappointed. We're only here to discuss 2 matters on the agenda. Let's give this a few minutes to see what happens. If not, I'm going to call the meeting, okay?
I have a question. You said Bogalusa.gov, not Facebook, like.
Bogalusa.gov.
It's no longer on Bogalusa City Council Facebook.
Bogalusa.gov is a city website, and the Bogalusa City City Council Facebook page are the 2 that you can go to. And we'll make future announcements on there. Carrie has access to it, I have access, and there's one other person has access to it. So,
Will the secretary be providing copies of the agenda for tonight?
Yes, once the meeting is started, yes, we're working on that. Yeah, just give us a few minutes, let's see if we're gonna have a quorum, okay? 4 council members are present, but we're waiting on the 5th one to actually have a meeting. By law, we have to have 5 council members, 4 up, 4 down votes, is how it works per charter. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. You're welcome. I just don't want y'all sitting here all night waiting for one person. So,
It's good to sit outside and watch you have to hang out. She's supposed to be in here at 5:45. She's sitting out there waiting. We're not gonna have a board. I said that man. They're trying to keep me away from the board. That's what she.
you think I'm right about that? 15 minutes is long enough.
Well, it said 10, but you're being generous.
I think that's fine.
It's first of the month, and he's swamped.
There he is, he's there.
Wilton here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
How y'all doing? Good. Hard day.
Don't have to turn this on.
It's been a hard day too, though.
All right, everybody go ahead and get their agendas. I'll give you a few minutes.
Right here.
Yeah, right there.
Thank you, Wilton.
All right, brother.
Hang on, because I think the live stream's already going. Hang on one second. Yeah, I'm recording. So once again, before the meeting starts, to recap, only thing will be discussed tonight will be the 2 agenda items. The agenda will not be amended by the Bogalusa City Council, and we are not discussing any personnel matters. Any personnel matters will be handled by the physical administrator. Thank you. That's my only announcement before the meeting starts. Thank you. Everybody ready? Let's let Ms. McLeod and Chester and them get their agendas. The agendas are right there, sir. The agendas are right there. Are there any more agendas? Okay. All right, thank you. All right? About ready?
Yeah.
All right, are we live? Okay, we are live. Call this council meeting together for Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2026. It is now 5:40 p.m. We do have a quorum at this time. First off, we have invocation, and it's going to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll do the invocation tonight. Everybody stand, please. Thank you, Father God of heaven, for allowing us to join on this beautiful day, Lord. Thank you for the little rain shower that you had, but Lord, thank you for allowing us to conduct the business of your people for the city of Bogalusa. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. At this time, please silence your cell phones, please. Secretary Edwards, can we have roll call, please?
Councilwoman Hillman,
Here.
President Urban,
Here.
Councilwoman Douglas. Here. Vice President Smith, Councilwoman Cates, Councilman Dunaway,
Here.
Councilwoman Temples.
Here.
Once again, we do have a quorum. Because there was a printing error, we are going to skip agenda item number 4. That will be rolled into the next council meeting to be approved for the May 19th meeting. We're not going to discuss that tonight. Next, we have recognition and awards. We have none. Appointments and nominations of boards and committee members. We have none. Number 7, we have adoption of resolutions. Councilwoman Hillman.
A resolution of the Bogalusa City Council placing a 12-month moratorium on the construction, installation, and placement of tiny homes, tiny cottages, and tiny villages within the city limits to exceed attached buildings that are used for storage.
Okay. Council people, please speak into your microphones so the public can hear. Come closer to you. All right, this time we have, first off, do I have a motion and a second?
Make a motion?
Second.
We have a motion, second, public discussion. Please state your name and address for the record.
Deputy McLeod, 414 Mississippi Avenue. We went through this a year ago, and I sent a bunch of stuff to Mr. Dunaway and to Ms. Kellis, and talked to you all about it. And and at that point, you guys had postponed making a decision, and you weren't going to go with the 12 months because you were going to take the time and work on it and come up with a better plan. So here we are, what, 6 months later, a year later, and now we're back to the same resolution again. If you do that again, then we will just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. I would really strongly, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to sit down with anybody. I'm willing to come up with the data. I'm willing to do anything you want to do, right, to look at the pros and cons of this. But it makes no sense that we keep postponing this over and over and over again. We might have an opportunity to create like a senior village kind of thing somewhere that people would really want, that would benefit the neighbors, benefit Bogalusa, and would benefit the people living here, you know, but we can't get to that point. We can't even talk about that because we keep putting it off. So I would like, I hope you all vote vote no. I hope you all come up with another amendment, make it 3 months, 6 months, whatever, reasonable. It's gonna force you to get to the table and figure out what you need to do. And I have a question, you guys probably won't answer it, it's not on this topic, but I would like to know about, is the fiscal administrator appointing a new just attorney? I think we have a right to know that. I think that that's the kind of thing that you don't have a right to keep secret. And I would strongly suggest that you talk to us about it and not push it under the table. Anyways, I ask you to vote no and come up with a better resolution. It makes no sense to me at all. We just keep doing the same thing. It's not productive.
Thank you, Ms. McLeod. Next, please state your name and address for the record, sir. You got 3 minutes.
John McNabb, 202 Durban Street. I stand before you tonight to oppose this proposed moratorium as I have before. At a time when housing costs have doubled over the past decade for many Americans, and when families are struggling with rising utility bills, insurance costs, and everyday expenses, I find it troubling that we are discussing ways to restrict affordable housing rather than expand it. Across the United States, there's a severe housing shortage. The National Low-Income Housing Coalition reports a shortage of more than 7 million affordable homes for low-income renters, and no state has enough affordable housing to meet that demand. The question before us should be simple. If someone wants to invest in our community, buy property, pay taxes, connect to our utilities, and build an honest home they can afford, why would we tell them no? Tiny homes are not a threat to our community, they're an opportunity. They provide attainable home ownership for young adults trying to buy their first home, seniors living on fixed income, veterans, and working families who have been priced out of the traditional housing market. Communities around the country are embracing smaller housing options specifically because they increase affordability and help address housing shortages. A moratorium does not build a single new home. It does not lower anyone's water bill. It does not reduce insurance costs. It does not create jobs. It simply delays housing opportunities for people who are trying to build a life here. If there are concerns about safety, appearance, setbacks, or infrastructure, let's address those concerns through reasonable standards. But an outright moratorium sends the message that our city is closed to innovation, closed to affordable housing solutions. We should be encouraging responsible development instead of blocking it. The people who can only afford a small home deserve the same opportunity to pursue the American dream as everyone else. Given that some of our public officials have professional relationships with major property owners in our community, I believe residents deserve a clear explanation of who benefits from this proposal and who bears the cost. The people bearing the cost appear to be the working families who are simply looking for an affordable path to home ownership. If a young family cannot afford a conventional home and we prohibit them from building a tiny home, what alternatives are we offering them? Are we helping them become homeowners, or are we simply directing them back into the rental market? When affordable home ownership is becoming increasingly difficult, we should ask ourselves who benefits from limiting affordable housing options. Is this moratorium intended to help residents achieve home ownership, or does it primarily benefit those who profit when people have no choice but to rent? I would like to close with this. Is this moratorium truly about protecting our community, or are we creating barriers that leave working families with fewer choices and more dependence on the existing rental market controlled by some of your close personal friends and business partners? I respectfully ask you to reject this moratorium and instead get to work towards policies that actually increase housing opportunities for all residents, not just your friends.
Yvette Preston, 641 St. Augustine Street. When we brought this up over a year ago, well, let me start out by saying, Ms. Hillman, this your first day here? You don't really have a firm understanding how these ordinances have been going for over a year? That's not my time.
Carry on.
This has been going on for a while, but you haven't done the research on it for the pros and the cons of this. Our elderly can't afford housing, and there's limited housing in Bogalusa, and you're trying to limit that. As your first action, I think you need to learn a little bit more, do some more homework before introducing an ordinance you know nothing about.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll make council comments in a moment.
Martin Austin, 736 North Avenue, Bogalusa, Louisiana. I'm astonished at this resolution. We live in a country that's supposed to be free. We're supposed to have perfect tranquility. But we have people, when it's cold, they're sleeping in the laundromat. Or they're walking the streets all night with their backpack. Councilwoman Hill, she just arrived. She's introducing this. My son and I, he writes music. We sit up all the time at night, go to bed sometimes 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the morning. For the last couple of years, I've been living in the district. In a friend's house to my house. Your district is really bad. You have a lot of people walking the streets all day and night. All across this country, they are using this system to get people off the streets, where they have a comfortable way to place to lay their head. And a lot of those small homes, they're really nice homes. That's better than sleeping out on the street in the cold. And for you to put it on a moratorium that you're not going to act on it for a year, I think that's not very human. I think it's really sad. And we call ourselves Christians and children of God. God, he wouldn't appreciate that. We need to be more compassionate toward our fellow human beings. And this is not being very compassionate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Richard Corsetti, 764 Marshall Richardson Road. Tiny houses are neat. I see it going on in Mississippi like crazy right now when I drive back to Florida.
Sure don't.
I see it all happening, and it's going on in our next town there, Popperville in the other place, right next to us. But the thing is, I have something to say about mobile homes. I have a piece of property in the city limits, two lots. And I had them for sale, and I had a lot of people interested in it. But when they tried to call City Hall, I gave them the number. No one answers the phone, and no one tells them anything. They tell me I'm stuck, I can't do anything. So, I don't know what that's about. You know, they want to talk to planning and zoning, or what can go on the property that I have. So, the thing is, I was saying too, my lots are where there's rental apartments. And I think mobile homes should be considered in the city to be able to go on a rental type area, not next to somebody on Bourne Avenue or anything like that, you know, those nice homes back there. But I do have rentals next door. And I think if they knew that they could put a mobile home there or whatever, they'd be able to purchase it, but they're sitting tight. They're not doing anything. So I just let you know, I'm waiting to see what happens. I got 2 lots. But I can't do nothing with them because they call here and nothing happens. So they're stuck. So just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, sir. Please state your name and address for the record, sir.
Faith Fair, 1931 Dewood Place. I think Bogalusa need to get a hold on all this time you give people to do things. I think 3 months is long enough. Because I look at all these condemned houses, they give them too much time to get these houses in order. It's time out for that. That's why Bogalusa look like a rag doll right now. And another thing, speaking of tiny homes, we need to have certain types of tiny homes. Crap like that on Sutherland Drive, on 5th Street and Sutherland Drive, that's a disgrace. And I see 2 cars parked at it. So that means 2 people living in it. So whoever gave permission to put that down there, they sick in the head. I don't care who it is. Sick in the head. So let's get it together and work better for a better Bogalusa. And another thing, I am tired of calling over here trying to get hold of Public Works and nobody never answered the phone. this guy we got in charge of this city is a joke. If y'all can't see it, something wrong with you all. This man needs to go. And another thing, you up here talking about bringing homes and things to Bogalusa. Where is he at? He should be here. He wants to run the city, he should be here. If he's not gonna be here, he don't need to be in the position he is. If y'all keep letting him stay here, y'all sick in the head.
All right, council discussion is now, public discussion is now closed. Hang on one second. I gotta address a couple of things before we get to rolling, okay? It's now council discussion time. First off, Mr. Farrell, the reason why we're even discussing this is because they can quickly bring in anything they want to. We discovered through our research that they are storage sheds and they are habitable, portable buildings. In this meeting, we're not allowed to discuss manufacturers' names. We have looked into the situation since we have discussed this last time at the council meeting. So has planning and zoning. Planning and zoning came up with an idea about just go ahead and adopting the Louisiana Building Code, forcing them for all structures to be compliant with the Louisiana Building Code, which I believe that, and the International Property Code, which I'm in agreement with that also. But in addition to that, for safety and security, we do want the things to be tied down. We discussed that today with Miss Dina Willett of the Planning and Zoning Commission. They seem to be on board with that. She seemed to be on board with that idea. If we could come up with something simple like that and just go ahead and tell the Washington Parish government, because they allow them in the parish, they allow them in Porter County, and listen to this, something that no one has ever done in the city of Bogalusa is manufactured homes. Manufactured homes have been legal since 2012. In my view, they're very close to a trailer, okay? But what reason why mobile homes was, monitoring them out in 2006 or 7 was simply because people were not keeping them up. That was what was happening. And there was a lot of building codes that took place at that time that were building changes, and there have been numerous building changes since then. So I'm just telling you some of the reasoning behind why we're talking about this today. This does not mean it's going to take 12 months to come up, but let's put it this way. Today, if somebody right now wanted to go and buy a storage shed, drag it down Louisiana Avenue and put it on their lot and live in it, they can. So you gotta have some kind of reasonable methods of, you gotta have running water. First off, all structures, if you live in it, by city ordinance already has to have running water and sewer. So you gotta have basically let that. We done looked all that up. So anyway, we're gonna have a roundtable discussion. You're gonna hear the council. Everybody go ahead. We're gonna start with Ms. Hillman.
Okay.
Councilwoman Hillman. Speaking
This
to the
is-
microphone so everybody can hear what you're
This is
saying.
for Miss Yvette Preston. Excuse me? Yvette Preston. I have been on the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I am very familiar with this. The reason why it's taking so long is because the Planning and Zoning never could get a quorum of people to do this at one time.
Vote.
Did you research the last meeting with this on?
It's my
Do that
time.
first.
It's my time.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's my time. We were agreement with this. We were for this at the beginning because we feel that it needs to be done. The reason why it's 12 months is to give them plenty of time to get what they need to get. Because it's not just gonna say that you can come in here with a building. The building is gonna have specs. It's gonna have to have certain amount of things. It's gonna have to have procedures and everything. Everything's gonna have to come in order. You just can't say, I want a tiny home on here and you pull one in. It's gonna have to go by regulations, codes, and that's what has to be done. We can't just say that's just a tiny home. Nobody said that that the planning and zoning didn't want that, and nobody said that the council doesn't want that. As for me, I think it's a good thing. but I think it should be nice, neat, and clean, and done by codes that needs to be done that way. That's just how I feel about that. And nobody has never said that we did not want that.
Councilwoman Temples?
I'm not opposed to the tiny homes, but I'm in agreement with Mr. Farrell with, if we don't have rules and regulations in place, then anybody's going to pull up a storage shed and plop it on any corner that they want to. So we've got to get these rules and regulations in place. So my next question is, we're throwing this back on planning and zoning. Do they have enough people now to start getting this in order and to get these rules and regulations in place so that it can be brought back to us?
They have reached quorum level.
Yes, they have. They've had more but last year when this was going on, there was not enough.
Councilwoman Douglas? And I'm gonna request, so everybody can hear your thing, bring the microphone over, please.
Oh.
Please.
I also agree with, Mr. Farrell. But I'm gonna say this here, and I have no problem with doing this. When you call City Hall and nobody answers, give me a call.
Been calling for the last 6 or 8 months.
Give me a
Nobody
call.
ever answered the phone.
You're the second person tonight that said you called City Hall and nobody answered. Give me a call. I'll make sure you get an answer.
No, we need to get rid of this man who called himself around the city.
We're not just saying his department, it could be something else, you know, if you call and nobody answer, give me a call.
We still have to pick on you to get through the phone.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I don't call directly into City Hall, but I'm saying, if you call and nobody answer, please give me a call. I'll make sure you get an answer, because it shouldn't be like that.
Okay,
I said, get rid of this whatever.
hang on, I'll swing back around. All right. Councilman
Dunaway.
Dunaway.
Good job. I had the stuff from the plumber, and what it was,
Here, pull your microphone up.
and what it was that I noticed was that when I was reading it and everything, and they found a section of property somewhere. They didn't let them build anywhere. The one in St. Tammany Parish you gave me, they had a section of property set up. They had 40 or 50 acres of land they put aside for that they could build these houses. But they had a zoning committee they went to, and the zoning committee had the rules and regulations what it had to be. You know, and so we didn't have a zoning committee last year. Y'all was on it. Y'all never had a quorum, so nothing can ever be done. So you gotta form the rules and regulations by zoning.
Hang on, Ms.
So
McLeod.
what I read on your deal,
Information is not okay.
Hang on,
Okay.
hang on, Councilman
that's what I
Dunaway has the
read.
floor.
That's what I read, and they had that section, and that's where they built them at. They didn't let them build all over the city. We're not as big as St. Tammany. I ain't got no problem with somebody having a piece of land and build a house on it. I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, as long as they pass the regulation, we gotta set the zoning, has to set the zoning what it's gotta be and everything, when they go get their permits and everything to do it. So they gotta have you gotta have the zoning where they have the plans and get them do it, and then you can build all you want, anywhere you want if you own the land. Example tonight, this ordinance right here, I've had so many people on the planning and zoning right here on this 5 foot for May, they come in my store. I've already had 80, 90 people walking there, but say I shouldn't vote for that. I said, why? It's his property. They didn't build a snowball stand. They said he wants to move it up 5 feet, make it equal with his other buildings, and he said, you shouldn't have, because the city owns from the middle of the line 15 feet over. It's already in the way of the city property. I don't know about that either now, because I checked on that. They do. Every street, if you go down Rio Grande, over here, North Florida Drive, they own from the city line to 20 feet over on each side.
Hang on,
The
we're
city does.
gonna get to that next.
I got that.
Hang on.
I'm just talking about the rules and
Hold
regulations,
on, we'll
what's
have
required.
plenty of discussion on that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Now, we want to hear,
But I
because,
want this done on the planning and zoning side,
but
and get that over with so we can vote and get, and I
But
don't
both-
mind.
both of those, and what I told Ms. Willette today, take all your ideas, give them to planning and zoning. We gotta craft a ordinance, bring it back here. But first, by law, has to go through planning and zoning, because even if they discuss what I just discussed, that's rough draft ideas, okay? Now,
I got one more thing
Yeah,
to
go
say.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Finish, you have the
I
floor.
won't finish.
Councilman.
I have an employee, built a house down on the other side of Capos, going down one block, he's on the right-hand side, a brand-new home. He had a shed in his back. Didn't have it tied down or nothing. Don't know if y'all got rules on that, but they came by. They wouldn't turn his water or electricity on for the city, wouldn't do it until he strapped it down. It cost him $1,040 to strap it down, just to put his water and electricity on. I don't know where that, because he came to me, I said, I reckon it's all we got somewhere. I'll check it out. And it is. It's gotta be all, even sheds at certain times, gotta be strapped down. You can't just pull it on your property and put it there. I said, okay, that was Ricky. But I said, I'll check and see if you don't, he had to strap it to get his electricity turned off.
That's the reason why all these laws need to be swept into
Be
ordinance.
the same as what Ricky's trailer behind his house storage shed is.
Right.
Same rule.
In the tiny
Councilman.
homes that's gonna happen, they're gonna have that.
Bring the mic closer.
In the tiny homes that Dina and them's working on, it's gonna have that you have to have straps. So the ones that's in the city don't have straps anymore, so they can just blow over onto the neighbors.
Exactly, what they
But-
told him.
But they are going through that kind of stuff. And for Mr. Corsetti, there is an ordinance that mobile homes cannot be put inside of the city limits, and that's been since 70s? What year?
It's been since mid-2000s,
About
Danny started.
Mid-2000s.
2004.
And
Danny
you
Stoddard,
probably
and I think
are
he was
gonna
councilman
have
at the
trouble getting rid of that, because as soon as you pull those out, you can't put those inside the city limits.
I have one there now, I have a 25 by 55 slab there, that someone could put a mobile home on it and scrap it all down beautifully. I have water, sewage, trash, everything there.
All right.
Yep.
I don't see why I couldn't do it.
Because there's an ordinance, you can, it has
Hang on,
wheels.
hang on.
We're big shots.
You used to be councilman, right? You were councilman in what, the early 2000s?
I was a councilman, it goes back far.
Father, by the time?
It could have been.
All right, what was your,
And the
trying to,
reason why, Hawk Trailers at first they said it was gonna be designated areas. But the reason why our fire chief at the time came before this council and said that the insurance on property was higher because of mobile homes being located in the city.
okay,
We lost a lot of our tax base. We came up with a solution when I was on the council that you took a petition up, and if you had enough signatures, your neighbors agreed with you placing a trailer next to their home, they could do it. When after I left the council, I think it was Councilman Hawker. At that time, our real estate people were really pushing against it because I guess they wanted to be alone. And I think Councilman Hawker introduced it, where they would ban, the grandfather buildings that were already in, but they wouldn't allow any new ones to come into town. And so that's basically the reason housing trailers, and I think it was a bad idea because as long as they were kept up, the property was kept up, and I think you build your tax base up. Everybody can't afford to be up from the ground up, but they might be able to afford a mobile home. So I think you need to look at that because we need a strong tax base if Bogalusa is gonna go forward.
Fire marshal came in, fire marshal
yes,
blocked mobile homes.
all right, Ms.
Because
McLeod,
of fire.
come on forward, and if you got something to say about the,
Yeah, well, first of all, we didn't tackle the tiny homes after we talked that last council meeting where they said that the city council, which is about a year ago, where they said that the city council was going to form a subcommittee and look at. So I want to clarify that had nothing to do with forums or anything else. It had to do with waiting on the city council to reach out to us or do their own work. So I would really appreciate it if that wasn't said. And I have a concern in general. The problem with mobile homes is that they deteriorate, so that you can have a house that will last 100 years. Mine's 100 years old. It's surviving, as opposed to, and that's another thing, when we're talking about building codes or whatever, what we have to look at too is quality, and where we want. It's not as simple as just building codes, because if we're going to put a 100-foot building next to somebody with a mansion, we're gonna have a problem. I mean, so it's not as simple as we'll just come up with the codes and go with them. I think that we really need, and this is part of the master plan too, and I really would suggest that not only do we come up with a plan, but then we present it to the community, and we get the community to buy into it rather than just imposing it and then having people mad and talking about it for the next 20 years, you know. So this would be our first step in the master plan, where we get community input, and then we actually put it out there, and this would be a good test for that, you know, to see how well it goes. But my guess is that we will do this again in another year, and we will come back to it, we will have 12 months of.
I don't think you're right there. I think it's gonna be handled
I think it's
within
gonna
6
be-
or 7 months.
Yeah.
It'll be
This is-
over
this is
after they
being
get going with their end.
It just doesn't make sense to just keep.
Yeah, and if it gets going on the other end where they set their zonings up.
All right, this
it'll
is
be
count.
over.
All right, thank you, Ms. McLeod. Council discussion, council discussion.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I want to state one thing that was said earlier. Even the people, there's not only citizens that are wanting these things, there's groups that are wanting these things to make tiny houses. I'm not going to call them out today. The landlords that you have are wanting this. They're wanting to make villages of them, and that would be nice new construction. They are people right south, east of the border that are making these things from the ground up and not prefabbed. The issue came up about hurricane clips and stuff like that recently. So I looked at 2 of them at a local business here in town, and he said all of them passed the Louisiana building code, but straps were not included, et cetera, when he got out there. It's not finished. Our city ordinances require front and back door, so just let you know, because there were some buildings, regular buildings, I think you were here, they were built, I can't say the person's name. The whole building was built without a back door. And that was, so bottom line, you need a front and back door and windows. So these things need to be actually openly discussed, along with, of course, the master plan. But the master plan is in order to get grants, mainly. That's the target goal of that. But bottom line is that the ongoing issue with tiny homes is something that we're closer to coming to, but we can't have every week somebody plopping down something like what Mr. Farrell said, plopping something down and trying to hook up electricity to God knows what and living in it. And because the first Katrina-style hurricane, it's not if, but it's when you have that again. By the way, if they're not strapped down, they will float off. That happened in 2016. That sure did, with a lot of buildings. If the thing's not strapped down, period. Matter of fact, I wouldn't want to be in the middle of a hurricane. Period. With straps or not, okay? But bottom line, some people, that is the movement of today about tiny homes. All right, thank y'all very much.
One more thing, it's not going to take 12 months. We're just giving it 12 months for things to get it together. This has been going on for a while. This has been talked about a lot. So it is moving. It's just that we're just to be safe. They want 12 months, and that's what we're gonna give them.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna reopen public discussion, but let's make it quick, guys. We got another agenda item, which is a hot topic.
Mrs. Gladys Lamington, 1950 Roseboro Lane.
Yeah,
Mark, you said that some houses is built, you were talking about no back doors.
yeah,
Columbia Station does not have back doors. They only have one door, one entrance in and one entrance out. Columbia Station has no back doors, and whoever the doggone fire marshal was should have stopped it right then and there. But they've been sitting over there on Columbia Street for all these years, putting people's lives in danger with one door. One door.
How about the fire station?
no,
Columbia Station, off Columbia Street, on Columbia Street, right from Vino's and Sunny.
They don't have back doors in their house?
They have no back door, and that should have been stopped. The fire marshal should have stopped that from day one. But I guess the money was being put in their pockets, they didn't care. If the fire start in that front door,
They can't get out.
they can't get out. And that need to be shut down. And it's been there so many years, but it's one way in and one way out. If you can't get out the window, you call it. If it's
Okay.
in the front. That's what I had to say, since you said the no door, one door.
I can't discuss what the history behind it is,
Yeah.
but you are in the very warm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's because of whoever built them, they had money coming in for their own purpose. But that
And
place does not have, those houses only have one door.
And there was an ordinance made after that requiring another door. Is that, am I saying that by correct? Because it came up in planning and zoning. I saw the
What you
ordinance,
said.
Jess had it one time, we'll have to look that up. But
So
anyway, go
if the
ahead.
police need somebody, we're trying to get out to somebody, they don't have a black back door to block because
Okay.
there's no black back door. Those Columbia Station should have been against the law from the start.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Gladys. All right, please state your name and address for the record.
Harlan Austin, Senior, 736 Clark Avenue, Bogalusa, Louisiana. I agree, you need a back, you need two doors. You need an exit door in case there is fire or something.
Well, we need,
But I think the council,
this is about the tiny home.
along with the city inspector, the one that issue permits, I think they're the ones to make the decision, not the planning and zoning. When I sit on that council, I scream because I feel like the planning and zoning commission is stacked. You got people that's in real estate business, they sell homes, they build homes. Don't you think they're going to vote for their own self-interest? I think it needs to be taken up with your safety people, your people that permits to make sure they're up to code. I think it needs to be done at this county, not planning and zoning, because you have people that have their own agenda. That's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you. Next, please state your name and address for the record.
John McNabb, 202 Durbany. I want to just kind of harken back to something Mr. Dunaway
Go
said.
ahead.
He said that his employee couldn't even get utilities hooked up until his shed
Was tied down.
Okay? I think we're getting lost in the weeds, picking one thing over another, one code over another. And here's a revolutionary idea. Why don't we do just like what was done to his employee and enforce the codes that exist on structures in general, rather than putting forth a moratorium on denying the rights and freedom of our citizens? You can add more regulations and more codes as time goes on. But what we seriously need in this town, because it's not just tiny homes, it's not just mobile homes, it's houses too. We need code enforcement. And we need a judicial system that has a spine that's actually going to back up code enforcement to get all houses brought up to code. Because if we have code enforcement enforcing codes evenly across all structures, then we don't need a moratorium. We don't need to deny people the rights of what to do with their own property. So I think that the moratorium is unnecessary. You can table it, you can vote it down, either option is fine with me. Just enforce the codes that exist. And then if we need more, we can add it.
We don't have one on this right now.
We're not on tiny homes, but
Yeah,
if you
tiny
want to
homes,
get
no,
utilities
that's all
on
this
any
is about.
structure, we
Yeah.
have codes.
Yeah,
Like, just like you yourself
Yeah.
mentioned, you know, if Ricky wanted utilities on the shed, he had to tie
let's
it down.
swipe it down.
We need to do the same thing for these.
That's right.
And if we need to expand further, we can expand further at a later date. But we can't strip the rights of some citizens just because others are not taking care of their stuff.
Mhm.
We need to enforce the rules on the people that's not
I know
taking
what
care
you
of their
mean.
stuff and not infringe on the rights of those who are.
Okay, thank you.
Deborah Corsetti, 764 Marshall Richardson Road. You might be surprised that I'm going to agree with your moratorium, but I think 12 months is too long. And the reason is, I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission as a secretary when that tiny home was put on Sullivan Drive. And the reason it got put there was because there was no ordinance that dictated what was required. It's very simple to correct that because the state of Louisiana has already gone to the trouble of drawing up the specifications and building requirements for tiny homes.
all you have to do is take what they've given you and use it. The problem that I see, more than the specifications, is location. You need a zoning, like you have residential zoning A, you know, BC, all that kind of thing. You need an area that's zoned for those tiny homes.
That's right.
They can't just be scattered all throughout the city wherever there's a vacant lot. You can't put a tiny home next to a $2 million house. That's ridiculous. It'll bring down the property values of that $2 million house. You need to find a big piece of land and put the tiny homes there.
Industrial park,
Huh?
industrial park, that's the biggest piece of land I know around here.
Wherever you
That's
have a
where
big
it's at.
piece of land.
So, Ms. Corsetti, what you're saying is basically a back to the tiny village then.
Right. a
An
An
tiny-
area designated for that area, like
That's
a
what
resort
St.
area.
Tammany does.
Right.
So,
And that's how they're basically laid out throughout the whole United States, is little communities of tiny homes.
right,
They even, I did a lot of research on this when I was on planning and zoning. Most of those little tiny home villages even have like a community center and, you know, fire pit and things for people to congregate and socialize together. But it is a thing that's coming and we do need it. We just need to figure out where to put it and use the state's guidelines.
thank you, Ms.
12
Corsetti.
months is too long.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Yes,
Yvette Preston.
Yes, ma'am.
41 St. Augustine Street.
uh-huh,
Even when we do vote on this in this moratorium, are we doing, comps, in median comps for that area? And like I agree with Ms. Corsetti, it has to be a designated area because when you go right up here to Poplarville, those are very nice homes. Those are extremely very nice homes. And they're affordable for the elderly. What we should have did was do the research, go back and see how it's done. We don't have to reinvent it or create a new moratorium. Let's work with our city ordinance and code enforcement. And if the codes aren't being enforced, what good is the moratorium?
thank you, Ms. Preston. Yes, sir, please state your name and address for the
My name is
record.
Bruce Fuller, 1101 Diamond Street. I want to respond to
Lean forward, please, or pick up the microphone.
I want to respond to you. You said Carter's Public Works.
I didn't say call public works.
You said Carter City.
He said he called the city and nobody answered. I told him when he called again and nobody answered, that he can call me.
I want to do better than that. I done went over there. I'm having a problem with snakes, coons, rabbits, everything running out the ditch. It's a ditch on Brigham Road. And it's real deep and it need to be cut because it's a rubber pit back there. I'm scared to let my grandkids go out there and clean the yard because I'm running out snakes. Snakes falling out of trees, coming out the ditch, coons coming out, possums coming out. They need to be cut.
We'll talk after the meeting.
Is that the one, the house we talked about today already?
All right.
It's a different.
Please state,
764 Martin Richardson Road.
okay.
I'm going to agree with McNabb about code enforcement because Mr. Dunaway knows about that roof on Columbia
Yeah.
Street. You know how long that's been, Mr.
I've still
Dunaway?
been working on it too, aren't you? See, it's tore down, and got new rafters up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's turning dark now.
I didn't know somebody lived in that house about a week ago in that part. They live in it too.
Well, code enforcement, I asked her that 3-4 months ago, how's it going? And she told me he has a contractor on it.
Yeah.
Well, don't look like no contractor to
Moving
me.
slow. I'm telling her to go back over there and see it.
And it's been over a year. April 3rd was my birthday, and I went and saw code
Yeah.
enforcement last year.
Yes, sir.
And it's been that long. But now I'm gonna go back to the mobile home. Mrs. Hill said, yeah, they probably don't allow the mobile homes, but if you look up online and say, mobile homes allowed in Bogalusa city limits, it'll say yes. If you actually Google it in there, it'll say yes. But what I'm trying to say is, mobile homes, yeah, they probably were bad. They weren't even, any good back in the day. But I think if you were going to work for a mobile home company now, I don't think they'd be liking you talking that they're not up to code. I don't think, you know, and they're no good. It's a new thing. I have people that want to put a brand new mobile home on my lot.
Right.
And they're willing to do it, but they tried to call here and can't get an answer, and can't get through, and can't get any answers. So I'm just letting you know what's going on. I had a girl very interested, and now she had to give it up because she says, I can't get through.
Yes, sir.
So just letting you all know that. Okay, I gave her the number. I said, call and see what happens. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cus. Now, Ms. McLeod will be the last one. Come on. I'm doing this as a courtesy because we're about to draft an ordinance. So that's what's going on here.
All right, Debbie McLeod, 414 Mississippi Avenue. My suggestion about appropriate communities is that one of the things that we can do is make the houses be this up to the median price of the home in the area. So that if you're in a place where the houses go for $80,000 a year, you know, on an average, that's what would be required. As opposed to if somebody lives in a $3 million home, then they would have to have a tiny home that was equivalent to the average price in that area. And I think that would solve the problem and make people feel better, you know, that we're not trying to impose. And it would also ensure a certain amount of quality, you know, that we're not just putting up plywood or something, right?
Ms. McLeod, that needs to go through planning and zoning, and you're on it.
I am.
Yes. That you just said, you need to discuss that with your planning and zoning before it comes to us. There's
Hang
nothing we
on,
can do about
Shandon.
that.
I don't know, I'm hoping that we'll have some collaboration, which is what we talked about
All
last time, that Mr. Dunaway knows about.
Thanks. All right, Mr. Chester. Chester will be the last person, okay?
All right, good evening, Chester, 1907 Beach Charlotte.
Go ahead, Mr. Chester.
The tiny home deal, which is down in St. Tammany right there by the Waffle House, they got it all designated there. They does look good. You know, Bogalusa could get to that point. But Bogalusa's got enough property to where we could make the tiny homes be in one location. We got so much land at the industrial park, we never gonna do anything with it. That would be a great idea. You know, the land is undeveloped. You make out something with the owners of it, you know, with the property. You have to really work on it to see if you can sell the property to them. It don't take much property to have a tiny home. So that's where I was looking at. And then if you're gonna have a community like that, we need to look at what we got now that's going on, which is unsafe. Just like you were saying, the building a Columbus station or having the back doors. Also, they got the apartments is almost a mile down that street, because if you get a fire breaking out, it's one way in. They're on the street too, and they cannot get out there. Everybody can't get out there front. Where they gonna run through the woods, drive the trucks through the woods? They're gonna get out. And then you got the gateway over here. Hey, same thing. One way in and one way out. They got gates there. That gate stays locked. You cannot get out. If a fire break out over there, nobody can get out. It's one way. And we just gotta look at everything, and the industrial park will be great for the tiny home. Now, put them all over the city, put them in one area. Thank you.
All right, public discussion is officially closed. Any other additional council discussion? Okay, we're gonna close that. Now we're gonna have roll call. Now, the reason why we took all this in advance, that was a good, healthy discussion. See what I'm saying? That was a good, healthy discussion by both sides, both the council and us. We're getting some ideas for an ordinance here. So, moving along.
Councilwoman Hillman.
Yay.
President Irvin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Douglas.
Aye.
Councilman Dunaway.
Aye.
Councilwoman Tempest.
Aye.
Okay. We don't think it's gonna take a year, but no, because we've already got some ideas already. All right. We just have to run those ideas through planning and zoning and then back to us. All right, now, next we have the public hearing on the ordinance and to be read by Councilwoman Cates. I guess I'll read that tonight since Councilwoman Cates is not here. This is an ordinance to approve the planning and zoning request for a 5-foot variance on setback for property located at 708 East 4th Street, Bogalusa, Louisiana. All right, so at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion and a second, and we're going to have a public discussion on Mr. Kelvin May. We're going to have this public discussion about only a variance. The building's already there, and all he wants to do is add a porch to bring everybody up to speed, add a porch to the front of that building, and there's going to be a separation between the sidewalk, about a 6-foot separation between the sidewalk and the porch. Okay, so y'all will understand what's going on. He's putting the snowball stand's already there. So he's going to build a porch onto it, and so y'all know what's going on before we make a motion in a second, and then I'm going to have public discussion. I'm putting it in a nutshell so the public will understand. Hang on, give me just a second. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion second. Public discussion. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record. You got 3 minutes.
Debbie, 5414 Mississippi Avenue, Bogalusa. I'm on planning and zoning. We had no problem with Mr. Williams' request. There are no houses or neighborhood entities that should be affected by this. So I don't see the harm in doing this. It's commercial right there. The properties are all commercial. There's no houses on the other side across the street, so it doesn't seem to me that there should be any issues with going ahead with it. And that was the opinion of planning and zoning too.
And how did planning and zoning feel about the variance?
I think that was fine. I mean, we weren't overly concerned about that. I mean, there are other places in town that have buildings that are almost straight up to the sidewalk. I mean, all over the place. I don't see that as a big issue. If it was in a residential neighborhood, that would be something else. But that all those buildings are commercial there, and there should not be a big problem with a minor variance. It's not like they want to get rid of the sidewalk. It's not like they want to, make a huge change to what's going on or the way it looks or anything else. So I just personally, I don't see a huge problem with it. And planning and zoning wouldn't see a huge problem with it either.
Thank you, Ms. McLeod. I appreciate your input. Yes, sir. Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, sir.
John McNabb, 202 Durban. I'm looking over the plans here. I see it's going to come from the sidewalk. It's an 8-foot porch. Do we have any public utilities such as water, sewage, or anything like that that would be impacted if services need to be provided or worked on by that porch? No? Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I looked at it today. I didn't see any.
Okay. Does the gentleman own this property?
Yes, sir.
And I say let him do what he wants to do.
Thank you, sir. Yes,
Deborah
ma'am.
Marsetti, 764 Marshall Richardson Road, Bogalusa. I don't really know anything about the setback or any of that, or how it would affect what it looks like or any of that. But my question is, on the plan review report from the Office of State Fire Marshal, it gives the address as 701 4th Street, and the building permit says 708 East 4th Street. So I'm not sure how detrimental this plan review report is to the State Fire Marshal, that it has a different address.
Okay. Now, public discussion is now closed. Council discussion, I will disclose something. I did go out and review the building today, so we'll know what we're voting on. It is a building that's basically like a snowball stand, slightly larger. It's blue and white. It's even with Mr. May's existing establishment that's next door. And what I believe the address is picking up on is the establishment that's next door to address Ms. Corsetti's concern, but the buildings are right next door to each other, okay? The snowball stand will be. And all he's doing, it's already on a commercial piece of property, so therefore, he's adding on a porch. And I did speak to the builders today, and he explained it to me. Just happened to have a chance meeting, ran into the builders during lunch, and the builders came across the table and explained it all to me, that it won't interfere with anything, and no, the porch is not going to be hanging out in the street. It's going to stop at the sidewalk. The street's here, sidewalk's here, and the porch will be back here. And the building, the two buildings are even with each other, so he's going to extend a porch out, and on that porch is somewhere later on is going to be a sign or whatever. So y'all understand what's going on. I'm just explaining it to everybody. I looked at it. I didn't see nothing terribly wrong with it. It is in a commercial area. Ms. McLeod is correct about that, and there are no other residential structures nearby. So go ahead, any other council discussion on this?
701 and 708. So one's gonna be a snowball stand and the other that's right next to it is a bar room?
That is what the establishment is currently functioning as, yes.
There's a barber shop.
The barber shop
So
is
you got the snowball
the
stand, the barber shop, and then the bar.
Yeah, and I
The bar behind the
apologize.
barber shop and the restaurant is on the side.
Gotcha,
That's where the screen, the roof is down and sloped.
gotcha.
I looked at this building after it was put there. I
Mhm.
see nothing wrong.
I don't either.
It's enough space to say if he wanna put a porch, you still can order your snowball and you're not in the street. I see nothing wrong.
All right, any other council discussion? There be none, I close council discussion. Secretary Edwards, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hillman,
Yes,
President Irvin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Douglas,
Aye.
Councilman Dunaway,
Aye.
Councilwoman Temples.
Aye.
Okay, the measure does pass, and wherever Mr. May be listening at, thank you for investing in Bogalusa. We greatly appreciate it. Now the young people of that area have somewhere to go get their snowball. All right, moving along. Then we have any administrative remarks? No administrative remarks. Now we move to council remarks. We're going to start with Councilwoman Hillman. Any council remarks?
none at this time.
Councilwoman Temples?
I just have one thing. School's out, and there are lots of camps and Bible schools going on. There's one this week with the Washington Parish STEM and Innovative Learning Center. Every day this week is a different age group. Monday was pre-K, Tuesday was kindergarten through second grade, and then the rest of the week, Wednesday is third through fifth grade, where they're having a video game creation. Thursday is sixth through eighth grades with aviation and drone lab. And then Friday is 6th through 12th grades with cybersecurity. It's just $20 per workshop it's 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. And the number for you to call if you'd like for your child or grandchild to go is 985-775-0048. And it's on 322 South Columbia Street. And I've worked with these people before in different situations, and it's very good. And STEM is something that's really growing in schools and colleges, and the students always love the things that they have. That's it.
Councilwoman Douglas?
I'd like to say good evening. Thank everyone for coming out. All I have to say is school is out. Let's watch out for the children. Thank you.
Good.
All right, no other comment. I just want to state that thank y'all so much for your discussion about the tiny homes and all. You brought up about the issues about the tiny villages. These things were believe it or not, being discussed, and they were being discussed by the public. And We'll be moving forward with something, and even if we have to put something, a provisional in place to accept the thing, but they do have to really, guys, blend in with the neighborhood, just like I've reviewed the meeting notes back from 2012, when they discussed about manufactured homes. It says in there, in the meeting minutes, that they have to blend in with the neighborhoods. I don't know if one of y'all might have been on the thing at the time. I remember them saying that, blend in with the neighborhood. So my view was, have a front porch, you know, to make it actually look like a house, not a shed that you just
That's
crawl up
gotta be in there.
So, but anyway, back to the story at hand. I want to thank y'all for very much. And remember, if you're having issues getting a work order request in, you can call the council office, you can call one of us. I have a separate number, 732-9673. So thank y'all very much. And the next meeting will be on June the 16th, Tuesday, June the 16th will be our next meeting. Thank y'all. Meeting now is adjourned. All right, orders are off?
Yep.
Bye, guys.
That's fine.
Are they firing told at me and